Andrew Jackson. How do we study for this?
I know. Like, I can't determine what he did and what the other presidents did.
All of this textbook jargon is confusing me.
If only we could, like, talk to Andrew Jackson himself.
That'd be nice.
Anywho, I'm gonna go get some water.
Hey, watch out for the stairs.
I will. Whoa.
Told him.
Where am I? Everything's in sepia. So the better question would be, when am I?
You was a long way from home, boy.
Who are you?
Name's Andrew Jackson, and you can call me Old Hickory. Come on, let's get you inside. There's bees about.
You can take the seat on the couch.
Rachel, we got company!
Turkey or ham?
Both!
So, where are we?
I'm a log cabin. Now, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm supposed to be studying for a history exam on your presidency, and I'm a bit confused. You think you can help me out?
Well, sure thing, boy. Ask away.
Alright, well, let's start from the beginning. The election of 1824.
Shoot, I won that. I had the popular vote by God knows how many points. If it wasn't that for that corrupt bargain, I would have been in the presidency.
Oh, the corrupt bargain between John Adams and Henry Clay?
Clay.
Okay. So that brings us to the election of 1828.
Well, I tell you what, that was a dirty mudslinging campaign. They called me just about every name in the book.
So what did they call you?
They called me everything from a murderer, slave trader, gambler, brawler, cockfighter, traitor, thief, and worst of all, an adulterer.
And none of that is true, right?
Well, looky here. Here comes my wonderful wife with our sandwiches, and I tell you what, I would never cheat on my wife, never. I love her so.
I love you too.
Okay. So you're already done?
You need to get hungry being Andrew Jackson, boy. Old Hickory likes hard. Well, we gave it all right back to him. We called him an aristocrat, monarchist. He liked to dress in women's underwear, too. He even pimped out an American prostitute to Tsar Russia, whatever the heck that is.
And you're sure all of this is true?
Well, boy, am I. From my mouth to God's ears, it's all true.
And somewhere in there, wasn't there an assassination attempt?
Oh boy, do I remember that.
I have you now.
Any hoozle. Back to what I did in 1828. I reduced the role of central government favoring states' rights. I increased the power of the executive branch, and I vetoed 12 bills. That's more than any president before me combined. I even threatened to send troops to figure out that little nullification crisis down in South Carolina via my Force Act, which said that I could send the military down to collect tariffs.
Court cases and some Indians?
Well, yes, there were. Around the time of 1830, the American people were hungry for some land, particularly the land east of the Mississippi. So, to appease them, I passed the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which stated that all the Indian tribes in that area would have to move to the west of the Mississippi. Well, there were some tribes that didn't want to go, like them pesky Cherokee, which ended up going to court about it. In the first court case, the Cherokee Nation versus Georgia in 1831, which ended up being not recognized as an actual court case due to the fact that the courts did not recognize the Cherokee as a foreign nation. Well, they went back in the Worcester versus Georgia court case, which the Judge Marshall decided with the Indians. Well, as you can imagine, old Hickory didn't like that too much, so I did just what I was born to do. And that was take some military action. I sent my troops in there and send their hides over to the west of that Mississippi River.
General Jackson, the Cherokee Nation has been removed.
Excellent, soldier. You are relieved. Rachel! Give me the board! Thank you, darling.
Mm-hmm. It's 3, sweetie.
Oh. Thank you, love. I'm going to get started on supper. Jackson's hungry.
So that ends your first term, brings us to the election of 1832, where you ran against a bunch of Whigs, including Henry Clay.
Clay.
Okay, that again. So what actually happened with the election?
Well, since all them Whigs did run against each other, ended up splitting the vote, which means I won the presidency for my second term.
So banking was a big issue back then, huh?
Yeah, well, it wasn't that I was necessarily anti-bank. I was against monopoly from upper-class bankers. And maybe I didn't necessarily like who tried to get the BUS back in state.
So you didn't like Henry Clay?
Clay? Yeah. He tried to alienate me from either the West or the East, depending on whether I signed it in or vetoed it. Guess what I did?
You vetoed it, didn't
I
you?
vetoed that mess right there. What we did is we took all the money from the Bank of the U.S. and we put it into our own little state banks, also known as pet banks or wildcat banks. Well, I reckon after all them questions, the bees should be gone. Let's head back outside. It sure is a nice day. So, you got any few last questions before I head home?
Just a few. Why does everything look so modern? And didn't your wife die before your first term?
See, this is just a dream. And that right there is just a figment of your tortured imagination. See, there goes my wife right now. Well, let's figure out getting you home. Hold this for me, boy. Hickory headbutt! No!
You awake? Good. You've been passed out for about an hour.
It's time to go study.
Thanks for holding my hat for me.